Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Is chat working? Like maybe sometimes you have a question.
No, I think chat is not working.
Okay. So maybe I need to check the settings. But if you have any question, you can always turn on your mic and you can ask. Okay, so we were explaining the difference between margin and padding. Okay, to show it clear, let's put container inside container. Container inside container and make it a different color. Colors dot suppose with. Now you can see the difference between padding and margin. So if you remove padding, see here, you see only the child container, the one which has the color amber. This one you can see. So margin means around the container, around the container. Padding means how much margin will be inside the container around the child. So if we make it left, right, say top, then bottom, then you can see here. Now you have this inside area is called the padding. Outside is the margin. So if you increase, say 16, see here, increases 20, increases, see here, around this. If you increase padding, so we can say all, then you don't need to write left, right, it will be applied to all sides. Say all 20. See here, if you make 32, see here, like this is called padding, and this area is called margin. Padding is very important. Actually, there is a widget called padding itself. Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
I understand the difference, but I have a question.
Yes.
Is it okay if we only use padding, or should we always use them together?
It depends on the UI design. If the UI designer like uses some kind of margin and padding, then you can use. There is no rule. There is no rule. It depends on which one looks good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
How to zoom in because the font is very small.
This code.
Yeah, please. Please.
Okay. Let me see how to zoom. Is it okay now?
It's accept.
It's better, but yes, now it's better.
Okay. So the difference between marginal padding, actually these things you can learn by experimenting by different parameters, by changing here and there. You learn, and once you learn, you can copy paste. Like for example, some kind of code is common, and it's not needed to memorize the code. So if you do it once, you can copy from the previous code. For example, uh, in the container, for example, we don't want to put color inside the container. Just we want the border. We want the border and rounded border, and the border will have color, but inside the container we don't want color. So to do that, there is a property called decoration. So you have to use this decoration, and that will do the job. So there is called decoration. Decoration takes a class of the input parameter should be of type class decoration. Okay, so and it's actually it's like a bigger code. So what I do is I copy the settings from a previously designed container. So let me because it's difficult to memorize all the types of parameters and how to give the input. So what is easier is, if you have already done the code of designing a container, you can just copy and paste. So just let me quickly bring my old code, say, and try to find decoration. Okay, there is a one decoration. No, I don't need this one. Okay, no, not I don't need this one. Okay, I will use this one. Now see, there is an error in Flutter programming. A lot of times you will you will see this red color. And why the error? The reason of error is we have two colors, one color here, one color here. So, but if you want to make sure, you can go back. See here, says cannot provide both a color and a decoration. So if you are using decoration itself has a color property. Box decoration has a color property. So if you use this color, you have to turn off this. So I have to turn off this and then run, then you get it. Okay, so if there is a color here, there you cannot put a color outside the decoration. But if you remove this color, it will go out. It will take a transparent color. Okay, so color. Now look at the border. We said decoration is a box decoration, and this box has a radius of size 10. So box border radius will take a class of border radius dot circular. There is also others. 0 means there is no border. See here, there is no border. But in that case, there is no need to give him radius. So circular, say if you give 5, it becomes less. If you give 20, it becomes more round. Like this. You can play with the number. Okay. Now it becomes a border. Not border, like radius on the border. Now the question is, we don't want the color inside. We want only the border. And inside it will be white, suppose. So how can we do it? There is something called border. In box decoration, there is something called border. That's why I say that once you make a code, it's better to copy and paste later on, because there are a lot of details. So once you make one container in a class, remember that you have a container, prepared a container there, and you can copy paste and change the color or radius or other things and do it. So the more you program, the new program will be faster. For example, how to make the decoration. I don't try to remember it, because I know that I have a code of decoration I did it before in that class. So when I need, I just open that class, I copy, paste it, and just modify it. Do you understand it?
Yes.
Okay, so try to do it. Try to not every time, don't type it. It will take a lot of time for you to even write a simple container with this color and something. Actually, the ideal thing is to make another class, your custom widget of your container, so that you can reuse it. We will, inshallah, we will discuss those concepts towards the end of this course. What is the best practices in Flutter programming in general, in any kind of development, what kind of good practices you can do. But anyway, we want to remove this color, and we want to have only the border. So to do that, there is a property called border. So border takes a type of like box border. So let's see, do I have a border here? So I will search border. Okay. Yeah. So we have border here. Okay. So you are saying that make a border of, say, let's give a color of, say, green, and there is color, and there is also something called width. Width means how much thickness. Width, say, make it 5 so that we can see it. Oh, sorry, I wrote it colors. See here, now we have a border. We have a border here. To remove this color, just turn off this one. Okay, now we have a border container with a border. You can play with it. You can make it 2. It will be like thinner. You can make it 1, even thinner. Look, this is a double, so even you can give 0.5 or 1.5. So it's a real number. So this is a border with a radius of 20. If you want to make it 10, it will be like this, and so on. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So these are very fundamental concepts of layout design, and you need to know them if you want to like render the UI. Without these concepts, it's difficult to render. There are many other properties of container, like if you want to put a shadow, or elevation, like this. So there are other properties that also you can use. We can remove this out inner container. There, run it. Now we have something like this. So see here. Okay. Any questions so far? Do you have any questions?
No, but I think most are clear.
Okay. So should I continue, or you are already overflowed? Overflow means like you are taking it's too much, or it's okay. The amount of content is okay.
It's not too much, but it's more time to
Okay.
understand.
So you can follow, right? You are following what we are doing.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So what we have learned so far today, we have learned how to use buttons and how to use a callback for the buttons, long press, short press, and how to arrange the buttons in a row so that they don't overflow by using flexible, like this, flexible or expanded widget. We have seen that. Then we spent some time on how to use container and trying to understand the different properties of container. And these UI components, which are called widgets, they are very fundamental components for layout. Okay, so if you want to draw anything, most of the time you will need a container, you will need a row, you will need a column, and the property of padding, margin is very important. Okay, there is also widget called padding, which is also very useful. For example, this number, we show it here in this text. So for example, if you say I want to put around it some space, so we say we will add a padding. The padding value is, we'll take edge inserts dot say all of 20 pixels, and the child of this padding is our text. Now if you run it, you can see here there is a space around the number. So padding, this padding is a very useful widget. We should know about them. Padding, it's about putting space around any other widget. Like this is a 4, there is a 20 pixel space around it. So for example, if I put it 100, you'll see here there is a big space. So it's very important also to know about padding, because in layout it's also very useful.
So it's the space between objects, right? Right?
Yes, to separate different objects. Like if you don't use padding, they will come close. So if you want to have a minimum space, always have a minimum space, then you can use padding. So whatever the screen size, always there will be 12 pixels padding around the widget here, which is a text, So this is also a very useful widget which we need almost every time we use Flutter. Okay, so today we have seen a lot of useful widgets. Now, before we close up about widgets or layout components, let's talk about something about column. We have aligned three things inside the column: this text, which is this text, this number, which is here, and there are three buttons which are put inside the container. Just 1 minute. Okay, sorry for what we are saying is we used a column of three widgets. This is the text, this is the number, and there is a container with a row of three. You can just bring the mouse over the dot and it will show you the code. Like it has some rows, you can see. Okay, now sometimes you need to space the column like the row. There is a way, there is possibility that you space around or space between the column elements. So like here, like this, like in the row we spaced around the or spaced evenly the components. In the column you can also do it. You can make also the other ones, like for example
So padding is a more precise way of using space evenly.
you mean the padding?
The padding widget is like using space evenly in a more precise way.
Yes, like you can control how much minimum
More customizable.
Yes,
Padding is
true. If you use just default values of rows and columns, actually it will be based on the screen size. But if you use padding, you can exactly specify that I need this minimum, this amount of pixels
so
around.
it's risky to use padding.
Sorry?
It's risky to use padding. It's more to be on the safe side. I use space evenly.
Yes, padding is good if you are sure that using those values will not overflow. So sometimes we dynamically can estimate that how much padding should we give. So we can show it sometimes later on. But before we close today, I will show you an interesting. Also, there is a widget to show you. Can you see the screen? That part of the screen went down. See here?
Mm. Yes.
It's not visible. So, for example, like some phones, they have notch. So if your text goes up to the notch, it will not be visible, right?
Yes.
So how can we avoid those things so that the UI is shown in a visible space of the screen? Because it depends on the screen, right? You don't know that this phone has notch, doesn't have notch, so it should be
Yes.
dynamic. So the good thing is Flutter has something called safe area. Safe area. And safe area means you are telling him that,
Limits.
yeah, like if there is some notch or some physical buttons or something, avoid those space. Avoid those space. So now look, it avoided the notch, not notch, the home button area. Did you see the difference?
Yes.
So it's a good widget to know that to use safe area, because nowadays different mobiles have like different notches and here buttons. Sometimes they don't have buttons, but they have overlays and so on. So we use something called safe area. It will avoid notch, it will avoid home button areas, and just draw on the screen which are visible, which are visible. Okay, so this is also a very good widget to know. So I think for today we have enough layouts. We have enough layouts. In the last class we talked about textile, right? We talked about styles, so we have some ideas about the style. Okay. So we what we'll do is we will stop here for today, and we will open the floor for any questions, something not clear, or if you want to review something, we will take questions from you.
Is the default Flutter UI. It's more like a safer way to develop an app and mobile application.
Sorry, I missed the first part. What did you say?
Like UI sometimes can take more bytes for having it from a designer. But
Okay.
if I use the default Flutter UI, for loading and refreshing the application, is it more? Does it provide me easy access to the app?
Okay, if I understood correctly, you are saying that like if the designer provides some UI component that is not available in the Flutter, right?
Or not available, but has more space or data, carries more pixels. Does it create problem for loading the application, refreshing the app?
No, actually, if you use images, then it will take time to load sometimes. If the image is big or high quality, then it might take some time. Or if you use animations, if you use animations, then the screen-
Animations. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So but just drawing the buttons, containers, rows,
Yes.
very fast. It takes maybe few milliseconds.
Okay.
Few milliseconds. So the general rule is, if the screen drawing takes more than 16 milliseconds, 16, then the user will feel there is a slowness, jerk in the
Yes.
screen. But if your screen is redrawn within 16 milliseconds, user will not feel. This is
Okay.
a like kind of standard. People experimented and they found that
Mm.
if your screen is taking more than 16 milliseconds, people will start feeling jerking. So if this happens, then you need to think how to redesign. Maybe you need to split the screen into two screens. Maybe you are drawing too many things on the screen, or doing too many things on the background. So
Mm.
so these issues will come. But generally, the components that we show, they are so fast that you will not even feel it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So general rule is, in UI design, try to be like cautious about using pictures, images. Don't use too many images. It will increase the loading time. Okay. Any other question today?
Thank you.
Welcome.
So the mathematical part of today's and yesterday as well is the counter. We used the counter, which included mathematics mainly in this developing the app.
Oh, actually, we don't have any mathematics. So the
None,
counter,
none. Mm.
yeah. So what we say in mathematics is like, for example, like, how can I?
Algorithm and
Sorry.
mathematics account of this symbol يعني not
Mm.
So actually, the meaning of what we say about mathematics is not about like the code itself. Like, for example, to implement something, like for example, you have a lot of data, and from the lot of data, you need to get or select some components. Like for example, Twitter. Suppose Twitter. The Twitter app is very simple. We can reproduce the Twitter screen within hours. But can we get the behavior of Twitter? No. That's a different story. Like, to provide the feeds matching your interest. That's machine learning. That's
Mm.
machine learning, and it's happening behind the screen. So that is what I am saying, is to develop something like very useful, unique. You need computer science behind the screen. Like
Yes.
Twitter, they use a lot of computer science techniques. Which feed to show you, how to know that this tweet is more relevant to your choice, so on. So this information is based on machine learning. So if you say that, okay, I will develop a Twitter, not it's not easy. We can develop the screens of Twitter within hours. It will take less than 1 day,
Mhm.
and we can reproduce the screen. But that's not the main way or main reason why people use Twitter. They use because of the content. Now, how you get the content? That's machine learning. Machine learning,
Oh.
a lot of data. So
Mhm.
that's what I said, that you need mathematics, computer science, to develop something useful. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Any other comments or clarifications that you need? So if there is no question, I will stop for today, inshallah, and we will continue tomorrow with some more features about Flutter. Okay, and we have recorded the session, so I will upload it in the shared folder, the same link that we sent you yesterday. We will upload the videos in that same shared folder so that you can download and see if you have missed anything. So thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.